If you're a brand founder watching this right now, I want you to think about something. Most brands will never hit £1 million in revenue, and the reason isn't because the product isn't good enough, not because the market isn't there, it's because the founder doesn't have a strategy in place to get from here to there. I've been in the brand building industry for nearly 10 years, working with the world's biggest retailers, attending fashion shows around the globe, selling on e-commerce websites, and I was lucky enough to work with a brand that scaled from a boy printing t-shirts out of his car boot to distribution across the world in record time. I was one of the original sales agents selling one of those brands in the UK, USA, Canada, Europe, Asia, UAE, and Australia, and eventually that brand sold through a private equity exit, and those lessons and relationships I learned along the way have paved the way for me and so many others, and I've helped achieve so much success with so many different categories of brands. Now, that is not normal. No matter what you see on Instagram or TikTok, that kind of success in that time is not normal in any way, shape or form or fashion. But I believe it happened because of these 7 principles that I am going to give to you and you can follow. And I need to be very honest with you. A very large portion of why I am here today is because of luck, timing, and probably the grace of God, and I won't pretend otherwise. My name is Lewis Maguire, and my aim with these videos is to give back the information I've learned the hard way, and I truly wish there was something like this when I first started my career nearly a decade ago. So what I'm going to reveal to you today not only helped me scale internationally on apparel, since it's helped me build multiple brands across menswear, womenswear, jewelry, footwear, accessories, and now I'm at the stage of my career where I'm being offered equity in established brands just for my knowledge and my network. Over the years, I've helped so many founders build brands. I've worked with Premier League footballers, boxing champions, UFC fighters, and if you want to find out more on how I do it directly, head to brandmap.io, which gives you the exact framework on how to do what I've done multiple times, set out in an easy to follow format. But apart from that, let's get into the video. Principle number 1, start small but think global. You do not need to launch in 10 countries at once. You don't need a massive product range from day one, but you do need to think global from the very beginning. What I mean is your brand identity, your messaging, your systems, they all need to be built with scale in mind from day one. I see so many founders building their brand around one market, one country, one city, one audience, one product, and then they try to expand and everything falls apart. The branding doesn't translate in another country. The logistics fall apart in another territory. The messaging feels off in another language, and you end up rebuilding every single time from scratch each area that you expand into. So when I launch brands now, I recommend starting with one small capsule collection, but build that brand like it's already going to go global. That means a clean identity, universal messaging. And when it comes time to expand into new markets, you don't have to rebuild everything every single time. You just turn it on. And here's what I would do if you're just starting out. Start with one hero collection or one hero product. Build your brand identity like you've already operated in 5 countries. Keep your messaging super simple and universal, and build systems. That means logistics and operations that scale from day one. And if you think globally early, you will save yourselves thousands of pounds and hours of time, probably years. And that brings me on to principle number 2, dress your brand to elevate. When your brand is new, people are automatically going to discredit you. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, but do not make it worse by the way that your brand looks. I learned this extremely early on in my career. One of the most premium retailers in the UK fed back to me how well one of their top selling brands was doing on how premium their package was. It was a ridiculously easy thing to implement. It was a soft hand touch feel, a Ziploc bag, clean, minimal, premium. It was the same product, but a different perception for the customer on the back end. So we took that advice and applied it, and you can do that too. Your brand needs to look like it's already where you want it to go, not where it is right now. If you want it to be a global brand, if you want to be in the world's best store, if you want to be up there, you need to present yourself from day one like that. And that doesn't mean spending a fortune. It just means being intentional, premium, clean, consistent identity throughout your whole brand, and a simple framework for you to apply here. Look at the brands that you admire, the ones that are operating at the level that you want to reach. Study their visual identity, their tone of voice, their packaging. Ask yourself, yourself, does my brand feel like it belongs in that conversation over there? And if the answer is no, fix it, because the perception drives trust and drives sales. And that brings me on to principle number 3, get humbled early. This is a huge one. If you want to build a successful brand, a successful company, you need to get comfortable with failure. And I mean real failure. The kind that makes you question everything, because if you don't get humbled early, the market will humble you later. I remember a time 10,000 jackets turned up on a driveway in Manchester and they were all faulty. The reason we did that, the brand was selling well, we thought we had momentum, sales were growing, we thought everything was figured out. It came to fruition, went to go to launch, and it flopped so badly. But those faulty jackets taught me more than any success ever could. Test before you scale. Listen to the market, not your ego. And the momentum means absolutely nothing if you don't have a proper sales strategy behind it. So my advice on the back of that lesson, put yourself in a situation where you can fail safely. Launch a small test, try a new sales channel, experiment with different branding, different applications, different messaging. And when something doesn't work, don't ignore it, learn from it. Because founders who scale are the ones who get humbled early and use it as fuel to get better. Principle number 4, build systems, not just sales. A lot of founders focus on making sales, bringing in revenue, and I get it, I love it. Sales are exciting, sales feel like progress, but if you want to build a successful brand, you need to focus on the systems that get you there, because sales without systems are nightmares, serious nightmares waiting to happen. I have seen over the years multiple brands hit 6-7 figure rev, and when they start to scale globally or to a different country, they fall apart because they don't have the infrastructure in place. Customer service breaks down, fulfillment gets delayed, and the founder just becomes a busy fool working 80 hours a week just to keep up. That's not a business, that's not a brand. That is a ticking time bomb just waiting to explode. Systems, logistics, customer service, inventory management. Yes, they sound so boring, but that is how you build a true machine behind your brand. And without any of that I've just spoke about, you will not be able to scale efficiently. So what I would recommend and what I do, map out your entire customer journey from start to finish. Where are your bottlenecks? Where are you manually doing things that could be automated by AI? Fix those gaps, because systems give you freedom, and freedom is what lets you and allows you to scale. Moving on to principle number 5, protect your energy like it's your most valuable asset, which it is. Something I wish someone had told me earlier. Your energy is everything. If you are distracted, if you are burnt out, if you are spending time on things that don't move the needle forward, your brand and yourself will slowly die. And most founders don't realize this until it's way too late. I used to say yes to everything, every meeting, every opportunity, every shiny object that came my way, and I thought I was being productive, but I was a scattered mess. My focus was absolutely everywhere, and then I started to protect my energy. I cut out distractions. I stopped taking meetings that didn't serve me or the business, and I built routines that kept me sharp and accountable. That means never missing the gym, eating whole foods, keeping up with your water. It's simple things that you apply and everything changes for the better. My decision making got better, my creativity came back, and the business started growing faster than I ever thought could, because I actually focused on what mattered the most. Now the principle here, just treat your energy like it's your most valuable resource, because it is. Say no to things that drain you, build routines that keep you sharp, and focus on the things that actually move your brand forward, because a focused founder becomes a focused brand. Now, principle number 6 is surround yourself with people who challenge you. If you want to become successful in life or build a successful brand, you cannot do it alone. And I'm not just talking about hiring a team. I'm talking about surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, because people who call you out when you're wrong, people who push you to think bigger, are priceless in the long run. I've had mentors, advisors, and team members who've told me things I didn't want to hear. And in the moment, it hurts a little bit. That's your ego getting bruised. But looking back on those conversations, they are the ones that built me those difficult conversations. And when you're building a brand, it's easy to get in your own head. Ego gets the better of you, but you need people around you who can see what you can. So what you can do here, and I would love you to write this down, find at least one person who is further ahead than you, someone who has built what you are trying to build, or someone who has paved the path that you want to walk along, and learn from them. Not just their wins, but their mistakes, their embarrassing mistakes, and build a team around you that isn't afraid to challenge your ideas, because the best decisions come from healthy, tension. The success of a man is built on the amount of difficult conversation he has. Just sit on that one because it's a good one. And then principle number 7, invest back into yourself, not your lifestyle. This is the principle that separates founders who scale from the ones who plateau, because when you start making real money, the temptation is there to spend it. New car, new watch, new pair of trainers, another holiday to Mykonos or Santorini or Ibiza or Vegas. And listen, I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy your success. You really should. But if you want to build a successful brand and a successful life, in my opinion, you need to live below your means in the early years and reinvest early and often. I remember hitting my first big milestone, and instead of celebrating with a flashy car like most of the lads did, I invested in real estate early. I invested in better software. I invested in better systems. And those decisions in the early days compound over time, because every pound reinvested comes back tenfold. And here's the truth. Your lifestyle can wait, but your future and your brand cannot. If you're in the early stages, every pound or every dollar should be going back into growth. Better products, better systems, better reach. And once you've built something solid and you've hit those milestones, you can enjoy it. But in my opinion, never before. My advice here, in the early days, set a rule for yourself. Every dollar or pound that you make, reinvest as a percentage back into the brand, back into the company, and stick to it. Because the founders who delay gratification are truly the ones who build a global brand. So there you have it. 7 principles for building a multi-million-dollar brand. Start small, but think global. Dress your brand to elevate. Get humbled early. Build systems, not just sales. Protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who challenge you daily, and invest back into your brand, not your lifestyle. And please listen, I'm not here to tell you it's easy. I've been at this for nearly 10 years. I'm not here to sell you the dream that you're going to do this overnight and build a global brand in 2 days. But I am here to tell you, if you follow these principles that I've just laid out, if you stay focused, if you respect the process, you will give yourself the best chance of building something real, something that lasts, and more importantly, something that can scale. And again, on top of that, something that you can actually be genuinely proud of. And that's what it's all about. It's about building a brand that stands the test of time and actually makes an impact. And if this helped, please save it, share it with a founder who needs to hear it. And as a reminder, I'm a little bit more active on Instagram, where I hold brand building Q&As all of the time. So go ahead and follow me on that account if you want more advice after selling products across 40 countries now. And as always, I truly hope you succeed in life. I truly hope you build something special and something that lasts, and something that truly makes you happy to wake up to and work on. So thank you for the time, and I'll see you on the next one.